Hello everyone, my name is Samir Rahman and I'm the group leader of Group 7 and our major project is automatic fish drying rack. To begin with, I'll start discussing about the product design specification. First of all, performance. This device is designed to dry fish using solar heat. It is capable of salting the fishes and then placing them into a dry rack. The device uses a variety of sensors to detect changes in weather. If there are any unfavorable conditions, then the device will automatically retract itself. Each batch of fish is expected to be dried in 2-3 days, and it can detect whether the fishes have completely dried or not. Target production cost. The target product should have an end user cost of 2,000 ringgit within Malaysia. The cost of manufacture should be around 1.5 thousand to 1.7 thousand ringgit. The cost of packaging and shipping should not be more than 15% of the manufacturing cost. Quantity. We consider all the fishermen in Malaysia and we assume that 10% of them will purchase our product. So the production target should be set to 15,000 units. In the size, the product should be big enough to allow sufficient surface area to dry more fishes, but not too big enough to make it difficult to transport. The product should also be designed to make it easy to be disassembled. Weight. The product should be heavy enough to balance the loaded weight of fishes and all the components. We are considering that the product can weigh between 15 to 20 kg without any load. Material. The material can be made from aluminum and stainless steel. The material also has to be strong enough to withstand the weight of fishes and all the components. The product lifespan. The product is expected to stay in the market for about 10 years as it is a new technology. Customers. Our customers are mainly small-scale fishermen who are located in tropical countries where the weather is uncertain, and also small and medium enterprises that utilize the drying process for fishes. Competition. There are fish dryers in the market, but none of them utilize sunlight, and all of them rely on electricity for the drying processes. The fish dryers that are available in the market are too expensive and more suitable for large-scale fisheries, but not for small-scale fishermen or in small-scale production. Service life. This product must have a service life of at least 5 years without any major maintenance. Due to the nature of its usage, it needs regular maintenance and cleaning, or else it will need repairs and replacements. Shipping. The product will also have to be foldable and have to be disassembled into smaller components to make it easier to be shipped into other places. The product will also have to be made of light materials. Environment. The product will have to be kept outside at harsh conditions for long hours every day. So it needs to perform best between 15 to 45 degrees as it will be outside in the sun for long hours, and the components have to be rust proof, and all the internal electrical and mechanical components have to be properly shielded from weather and should not come in contact with water or dust. Maintenance. The product will have to be exposed to weather all day every day and will be operated almost every day, so regular maintenance is needed. The moving parts will have to be cleaned regularly, and all the parts which have come into contact into food will have to be sanitized for hygiene. Ergonomics. The product must be easy to operate, handle, adjust, and maintain, and so on. And the device should run with limited human intervention and would not need much manual effort from the users. Appearance, aesthetic. The product has to be made compact and robust. The external appearance is to be taken into consideration so that the product does not become an eyesore for the people around. The product also needs to have a stainless steel coating to prevent rust. The product also needs black coating to absorb as much as heat as possible from the sun. Quality and reliability. The machine will use high quality materials and advanced manufacturing processes. The motors and sensors will all be provided by reliable OEMs. Packaging. As most of the parts will be made of metal, the product will not require any special packaging for any transportation. Testing. Motors, bolts, and gears must adhere to their respective specification standards during testing. Safety. There should not be any sharp containers since the machine will be exposed to rain. Therefore, all electrical components must be covered by plastic casing to prevent electrocution. personnel. Since this machine involves food industry, operators are required to follow food regulatory standards and maintain hygiene. Although much technical knowledge and expertise is not needed, but still operators are expected to know basic knowledge and exercise caution while handling the components. Market constraints. For the time being, only Malaysian domestic market is being considered for this product. In Malaysia, there is a risk of sudden flooding which may damage the product, and rainfall may also affect the function and efficiency of the product. Even if the product sales are increased to other countries, there may not be a significant increase of orders, as dried fish may not be popular in other countries of the world. Timescale. Prototype should be produced 2-3 months after the initial design stage. Testing of the prototype will be conducted for 4 to 5 months. Final product should be done by 8-9 months after the initial design stage. Processes. The manufacturing process of the product will be conducted in batches. The manufacturing does not require any type of special or complex manufacturing processes. Shelf life or storage life. This device is designed to be able to be stored for 1 year without compromising its performance. After a year of storage, the motors and moving parts will require maintenance before the machine can be used again. Political factors. The implementation of the product must follow all the rules and regulations of the specific country or region. The product cannot be used if any processes conducted by it contradicts with the political laws of the specific country or region.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am Haris Daniel bin Helmi, and today I am going to present to you about the function decomposition of my automatic fish drying rack. Alright, so for our team, as our teammate before me had already explained about the PDS, so today, right now I will be explaining about the function decomposition. Alright, first of all, the function of the automated fish drying rack is that the first one, it should place fresh fish onto the tray, and then after the fish is freshly placed onto the tray, it must be able to weigh the fishes, and then it would be able to clamp the fishes so that it wouldn't go anywhere else, and it will fasten it into the machine. And then to maximize the drying rate of the fish, we must make sure the machine also has the ability to sprinkle salt onto the fish, and then it would have the ability to leave the fish to dry under the sun over a period of time. And then next, after it had left the fish to dry under the sun for a period of time, the machine must be able to flip the tray over to the other side so that both of the sides of the fish are able to dry thoroughly. And then it will also be able to leave the fish to dry again for another period of time after it has been flipped, and then the machine also must be able to weigh it again so that a difference can be made and the water difference can be calculated so that the people know that the fish has been dried. And then after the process is done, the machine must have the ability to retract itself into the shed, and then it would also have the ability to release the fish from the clamps so that it would be collected. So that is all for the function decomposition part. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Muhammad Ishmamur Rahman from Group 7, and I'm going to talk about the morphological chart for the automatic fish frying rack. So basically in the morphological chart, we are going to showcase different types of mechanisms and devices that we can actually use for developing our final concept. So for the first part, we have the tray where the fishes will dry. So these are basically the trays where the fishes will be left to dry. So we have different types of suggestions from our group members that we can actually use for this mechanism, for this purpose. Then moving on, we have the weighing mechanism. So basically for the automatic fish drying rack, the fishes are going to be weighted before the drying process start and also after the drying process ends, so that actually the machine can actually detect whether the fishes are dried completely or not. So for this process, we also have quite a few suggestions from our group members for the different types of weighing devices that we can actually use for our final concept. Then we have a mechanism which will actually keep the fishes in place. So for this, it's basically a clamping mechanism which can actually use for clamping the fish. So this will actually keep the fish in place so that when the fishes don't move about when they are being dried. Then we have a salt sprinkling device. So when the fishes are dried, when fresh fishes are actually left to be dried, they are actually needed to be salt needs to be sprinkled on them so that they can actually dry better. So for this mechanism, we have a salt sprinkling device. So we have some few suggestions of different types of sprinkling mechanism that we can actually implement for our final concept. Then we have a tray flipping mechanism. So for the fishes to be dried fully, the tray of the fish needs to be flipped so that the fishes can actually get dried from either side. So for this flipping mechanism, we also have some suggestions from our group members that we can actually use for flipping the fish onto the other side so the fishes can actually get dried equally from each side. Then we have a mechanism for releasing the fishes. So this mechanism basically will actually be used for the fishes so that to release the clamp of the fishes so that they can actually be taken out from the tray. So for this mechanism also we have a few suggestions from our group members that we can actually implement for our final concept. And then finally we have the rails, basically, which function as the guide to guide and withstand the pressure which is pushed by the wheels of the fish rack. So basically they are actually used for the rack to move back and forth from the shed so that the rack can actually go back into the shed when the weather is not favorable or when it's nighttime, and it can actually come back out when the weather is favorable and when it's daytime. So that's all for the morphological chart from my side. So I will pass on to the next member who will talk about his individual concept. Thank you.
Moving on to individual concepts. This is the fully assembled view of my individual concept. There are two sets of wire meshes and the fishes are kept between the wire meshes. And the wire meshes are kept inside the drying rack. The salt sprinkler is used to spray salt all over the fishes and then the fishes are left to dry. The flipping mechanism is used to flip the fishes to the other side so that the other side can also be dried. The weighing machine measures the weight of the fishes before and after drying so that we can know when it has completed drying. The control panel contains all the sensors and is used to control the whole machine. The release mechanism is used to lock the wire machines and can be used to release the fishes when it has completely dried. The railing is used to transport the machine into the shade when there is rain or any other unfavorable weather. Moving on to the mechanisms. There are two mechanisms. One of them is release mechanism. The fishes are kept inside the wire meshes and the wire meshes is kept locked using this mechanism. When it is time to release the fishes, the pistons push outwards and this causes the metal claws to bend and unlocks the wire mesh. And then there is another flipping mechanism. The motor pulls member A to the left, which in turn pulls the corner of the plate B. The resultant moment causes plate B to rotate in clockwise direction. There is a slot at the base of the member A which allows member A and plate B to switch to the other side. So when A switches to the other side, the motor can rotate in the opposite direction and then the whole plate can rotate back to its original position.
Hello everyone. So right now we are going to continue. Hello everyone. So right now we are going to continue for our individual concept. Alright, first, for my own individual concept, we are looking at the first column, which is the column for option 1. Right, so right now this is the tray where the fishes will dry, and this is the weighing scale that we will use to weigh the fishes for both before and after the drying processes. And then this is the wire mesh that keeps the fishes in place, and this one is the salt sprinkling device used to sprinkle the salt on the fish. And this is the flipping mechanism that we will use, and this is the mechanism to release the fishes. And for this one is the guide and withstand the pressure pushed by the wheels of the fish rack. Alright, so this is my first sketch of my first individual concept, concept 1. As you can see here, this is the weighing scale in which we can see the weight projected here, and so we can see what is the weight of the fish, and we can use to calculate the weight of the moisture that is contained by the fish. So this is the flipping mechanism used to flip the tray of the fish, and this one is the railing in which it is used to retract the tray back to the shed. And this is the control panel where all of the tasks are delegated and automated. And this is the drying tray, and this is the wire mesh that is used to keep the fish intact, and this is the salt sprinkler. Alright, so for the second sketch, this is used to explain what are the functions of each component. Right, as you can see here, this forward hydraulic system and the rear hydraulic system is used to open a trapdoor in which it will release the fishes from their holding tray. And this is used in the last step as explained in the function decomposition, which is to release the fish and to obtain it for extraction. So this is the functional sketch. For example, this explains how the mechanism is going to flip the tray over. So in this one, the lever handle is pulled down by the pulling action of the rear hydraulic system. This one, the hydraulic system will pull it down, and then the tray will flip over. Right. For the second one, it explains how the trapdoor will open the trapdoor to release the fishes. For the front and rear hydraulic pull the trapdoor leaves, and then the leaves open up to release the fishes. So I think that is all from me for my individual concept one. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Ayman Ahmad Sharif. Here's my final concept, my individual concept for the automatic fish drying rack. So here for the wheels, I've been using railings so as guidelines for the rack to go back and forth inside the factory, as well as like the for the wheels, I've been using motorized wheels, so we can control it from the main panel. So we only need one operator for all the racks. Moreover, I've used a really simple design, really simple, which is cost effective. So we can actually build like more of these in large quantities, like in like with less money. So here, like I'm using a motor to rotate the grill 360 degrees, and the other side I'm using a ring bearing, so the grill basically rotates 360. So for the top, I'm using another grill lock with a motorized hinge which opens and closes just by the operator. We just need one operator, and it can rotate 180 degrees. And for the salt sprinkler, it's a really simple design again. It's just a motor, and which helps like it rotates and sprinkles salt onto the fish. So it's basically a really simple design, and I actually designed it this way because we could actually create it in large quantities, because we actually need more of these because there's a lot of fish, like we dry a lot of fish, and I believe that there should be like more of these, and we should be able to create more of these in a lot, like in with less money. So we can actually use more of these. Here's my exploded view. Again, it's really simple. It's a really simple design. And here I've been using like pressure sensors for the wheels in order to weigh the fish. Again, like it can be like seen from the operator. So it's from the operation machine, which is inside the factory. So we don't have to do much. It's just we need less workers. So that's all from me.
Hello everyone, I am Yanni and I'll be showing my individual sketching. So this is the isometric sketch of my concept. So there are 7 main components of this sketching. These are the fish rack itself, fish clamp, salt sprinkler, there is a motorized tightener, we have a control panel, a digital weight scale, railing tracks, and a shed. So initially the fishes are placed inside this fish rack, and then the clamp is tightened using a motorized knob. The rack contains a weight scale that measures the initial weight of the fishes, and then the fishes are salted using this sprinkler, which spins around while salting the fishes evenly. And then after a certain period of time, the fishes are flipped using this flipping mechanism, which ensures that the fishes get dried evenly on both sides. The rack also contains a control panel, which can be used to check the stats and make changes in the process. Additionally, we have added tracks and rollers to the rack itself, so that the rack can automatically go inside this shed whenever the sun goes down or when it starts raining. So yeah, that's from me, and now I will pass it over to the next member.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Muhammad Rahman from Group 7. So here I have the isometric view for my individual concept. So this is actually the individual concept for the fish drying rack that we are doing as our major project for the production design course. So here I have the isometric view where it is actually shown the assembled view of my individual concept. So in the next explanatory view, I have actually explained the parts, the function of each parts that are actually present in the individual concept. So here, I have a shed. So this shed is basically used to protect the rack for the fishes from any type of bad weather or any type of unfavorable situations. And the rack will actually retract back into this shed so that the fishes are actually kept protected. Then I have a control panel which is actually used to control some of the settings of this device and also show some output to the user. Then there is the salt sprinkler mechanism. So salt sprinkler mechanism is actually used to sprinkle salts onto the fishes. So the salt sprinkling mechanism is to sprinkle some salt onto the fresh fish so that the fishes can be dried properly. Then we have a weighing machine. So this weighing machine is actually integrated into the frame so that whenever there is any type of fish kept in the rack of the fish rack, the weighing machine will automatically uh, weigh the fishes so that there is no extra process in the for weighing the fishes. Then I have the railing mechanism, the rail mechanism. So this is basically used for moving the rack back and forth. So this rail mechanism can be very efficient to move the rack back and forth from the shed and also back outside. And then I have the railing track. So railing track is basically the track on which these rails move to move the rack back and forth. And then I have the frame. So this is basically the frame of the rack. So the main fish trays will actually be placed on this frame. And then well, I have the fish trays. So the fish trays will be used to hold the fishes in the fish trays. And then I have some motor controlled arms. So the motor controlled arms are used to uh, clamp the fishes in between these fish trays. So there are two fish trays. So in one of them the fishes are kept and the other is actually used to hold the fishes in place so that the fishes are clamped and they don't move from their position. And then we also have the flipping mechanism. So this flipping mechanism is basically used for these fish trays to be flipped onto the other side. So going back to my isometric view, so initially the fish rack is on this position. So using the flipping mechanism, the fish rack can be flipped onto this position, which is actually initially empty. So when it's moved into this position, then actually it can be said that the fishes will fry evenly from each side, so which will actually quick the fasten the frying process. So that's all I have to say for my individual concept. Now the next member will move on to the concept evaluation. Thank you.
Metrics. We have actually given points depending on the importance. So here for being the most highest, like most important, and 2 being the least. So for here, wait for the fishes, clamp the fishes, sprinkle salt onto the fishes, and flip the tray over to the side. And safety is our main concern, so it's the most important. Also, leave the fish to dry and retract the machine into the shred. Aesthetic and cost effectiveness is the least important for us. Then the durability is the middle one. So overall, after the evaluation, Ishmam has got most points, which is 132, and Ayman has got 106, which is the least. Thank you.
So now let's come to the updated evaluation. So the members try to improve their concepts according to the datum. So here a 0 means that there hasn't been any improvement. A positive means that there has been some improvement, and a negative means that the concept has gotten worse. So we carried out and evaluated each of our members, and it turns out that Samir uh, has a positive 8 points. Harith has a positive 10 points. Ayman has positive 13, and I have positive 7 points. So as there were no major improvements from the datum, we have selected the datum as our final concept. So that's all from group 7. Hope you found it interesting.